haunted hangar of Paya Lebar Air Base. Paya Lebar Air Base, a cornerstone of Singapore's air defense, stands as a symbol of precision and duty. But as night falls, the shadows deepen and the atmosphere shifts to something more ominous. Sergeant Rajesh Nair, with over a decade of service, was known for his dedication to the RSAF. Tonight, like many others, he found himself working late, alone in Hangar One. The hangar was eerily silent, the kind of silence that amplifies every sound. As Rajesh entered, the door's creak echoed through the vast space, making him pause for a moment. With practiced hands, Rajesh set down his tools and began his inspection. The sound of metal against metal echoed faintly, the only noise breaking the oppressive silence. The lights above him flickered briefly, casting long, eerie shadows across the hangar. Rajesh glanced up, but the lights stabilized, leaving him with a lingering sense of unease. As he worked, Rajesh heard a faint clinking sound, as if a tool had been dropped somewhere in the hangar. He paused, listening intently, but the noise quickly faded. Rajesh scanned the hangar with his flashlight, the beam slicing through the darkness. The vast, empty space seemed to swallow the light, leaving him feeling more alone than ever. Shaking off the feeling of unease, Rajesh returned to his task, tightening bolts and checking systems. The rhythmic clinks of his tools echoed in the quiet hangar. Then it came again, footsteps, slow and deliberate, echoing softly behind him. His heart pounded in his chest as he turned to look, but the hangar remained empty. A sudden chill swept through the hangar, raising goosebumps on Rajesh's skin. He could see his breath in the air, the temperature dropping inexplicably in the enclosed space. Rubbing his arms, Rajesh tried to shake off the cold. The sense of being watched grew stronger, making the hair on the back of his neck stand on end. Just as he began to calm himself, the metallic clink echoed again, this time louder and closer. Rajesh gripped his wrench tightly, his nerves on edge. Gathering his courage, Rajesh began to look for the source of the sound, his flashlight shaking slightly in his hand. His every heartbeat is audible in the otherwise silent hangar. When he reached the area where he thought the sound had come from, he found nothing, just empty space and the distant hum of machinery. The quiet was oppressive. Rajesh returned to the aircraft, trying to focus on his work, but the sense of unease lingered, like a shadow he couldn't shake off, making every task feel heavier. As he worked, Rajesh couldn't shake the feeling that someone or something was watching him. The sensation was so strong it made his hands tremble slightly as he tightened a bolt. Then he felt it, a cold breath on the back of his neck. It was brief, but undeniable, freezing him in place. His heart raced as he slowly turned around, dreading what he might see. Out of the corner of his eye, Rajesh saw a shadowy figure standing in the far corner of the hangar. It was barely visible, just a silhouette against the dim light, but it was there. As he turned fully, the figure came into focus. A man in an old RSAF uniform, standing in the corner, observing as if supervising him. Rajesh's breath caught in his throat. As Rajesh looked up, their eyes locked. Confusion quickly gave way to terror as fear gripped him, freezing him in place. The man's eyes glowed an ominous red, yet the air around him was heavy with a lingering dread, as though he bore the sorrow of countless lifetimes. In that brief moment, Rajesh realized the truth. This man was not from this time. He was a ghost, a remnant of a past tragedy that still haunted Hangar One. Before Rajesh could react, the figure began to fade, dissolving into the shadows until there was nothing left. The hangar was silent once more, but the chill in the air remained. Rajesh stood frozen in place, his mind racing to comprehend what he had just witnessed. The ghostly encounter left him shaken, with an unshakable sense of dread. Determined to finish his work and leave the hangar, Rajesh quickly completed the final checks. His hands trembled slightly as he packed up his tools, eager to escape the cold, haunted space. As he exited Hangar One, Rajesh couldn't resist glancing back at the darkened building. It stood there, silent and imposing, as if it was holding on to its secrets, waiting for the next person to enter. Thank you for joining us on this eerie journey. Stay tuned for our next story, The White Lady of Changi Naval Base.